Ego normally is personal. Your ego is normally your shadow. Like wherever you lacked in some place, your ego speaks real loud there to compensate for that. So normally, whatever your shadow work is, you know, somebody say, as a kid, everyone say, you talk too much. God, you don't never shut up.
Right.
Then you grow up and a woman say, hey, you know, we're going to go here. We have to propose a toast. Babe, make sure you keep it short. Would you say I talk too much? You see what I'm saying? You going
Trigger.
back. That's your. So the ego is personal. Whatever your shadows are, you know, whatever your dark place is, your ego speaks loud to protect that. So to me, it's on a case by case basis with each person. What might trigger one man's ego is nothing to the next man's ego. I feel like there's a fine line between that culture and that ego. I see what you're saying, how the culture might shape the ego.
Shape it.
I could see that. So a man should never divorce his culture, because culture is your belief system, the characteristics and way you carry things out. When I say ego, I'm speaking more so on the situation might be one thing in person, but you're not seeing the situation for what it is because you're a slave to a voice that's an ego behind you. You see what I'm saying? A man's culture is important. The woman supposed to, appease you according to what your culture is. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. A man with culture is that's a good thing. But the question is, how many people you know who are egotistical who seem happy in a relationship? Normally they're not, because they're in a slave to this invisible person whispering in their ear all the time. So I mean more so that, but I see what you're talking about.
In some of your videos, you refer to the term the might as well wife. Can you explain what that is and give advice to women and men on how to avoid this predicament? The might as well wife.
Oh man.
Break that down.
So I coined that term, the might as well wife. The might as well wife is when a man, he takes a woman off of availability for his own consumption before he's 100% sure that he wants to forsake all others for her.
Right.
So while he keeps her off that shelf for him to have access to her, he's still trying his luck with other women. And normally the grass is green where you water it. So right. I would say if you're with a man for more than 2 years and there's no ring, you're probably about to end up a might as well wife. If you have children with a man before you're married, you're probably going to end up a might as well wife. The way to avoid that is to move quickly. If you are 30 and under, 2 years, no ring, gotta go. If you're between 30 and 40, 1 year, no ring, gotta go. And the time frame goes shorter as you get older. So what I'll say is this: a man will make you a might as well wife when, you know what, I didn't come into this with the intention for her to be my wife, but you know what, now we've been living together 5 years, we got 2 kids. If I left her, I'd be on child support. I might as well just marry her. That's when you become a might as well wife. And when you become a might as well wife, you'll never be treated well as a wife should be. So the key is, don't leave what's best for yourself to no one else, man or woman. You have to know what you want, know what's best for yourself, and instill those boundaries. So many times you're the prey at the end of the day. I mean, you over here, you got him, you hung up, covered in salt, just getting cured for his consumption. And then you play the victim like, he wasted my time. I'm sorry. Don't you have 2 legs? Have a plan for yourself. Don't put your well-being in someone else's hands. If you know what you want, you vehemently stick to that, and don't tell the man your time frame. Maybe you can mention it to him one time. My time frame is XYZ, and mention it casually. He heard you. Don't keep repeating it. Don't ultimatums. That's what I meant earlier when I said want your desired outcome, not the man. If you want to be married, I want to be married.
That's not
the
on the
man
first date?
that fitted. What's not on the first date?
That timeline.
Not necessarily, no.
When you decide to sleep with that man, you don't feel like that should be a part of that.
Sleep with him on the first date.
No, I'm just saying, if it's the second or third, does that like you said, you said to mention it once. I would think that mentioning should happen during times of intimacy and not after.
Of course, before intimacy. Okay. Honestly, before you meet. You shouldn't really meet a man. You meet him Tuesday and Wednesday you're on a date. You got to be on the phone with me for a week or 2. We have to have multiple conversations, then we can go in person.
Right.
And that's how everyone wins.
Right.
Now the man don't have to worry about it just being about her getting free meal.
Right.
She ain't got to worry about him trying to sleep with her.
Right.
A man that is just trying to sleep with you gonna be like, I gotta talk on the phone with her for an hour, for 2 weeks. Damn, I was just trying to get her to the crib, smell my cologne, and see my apartment, and want to give me some.
Right.
So to me, it protect everybody. Talk on the phone, get your non-negotiables out on the phone. Then you can meet in person. Because in person, oh my God, she can't resist me. And by the time you get to intimacy, you don't do that until the female ancestors clear you for that man. Then you can give him some.
Nah, you gotta explain that. I just want to know about the clearance. You know what I'm saying? You hit a nerve with that one.
What we said before, women, we are recyclables of our mothers. If a woman was a hoe, 9 times out of 10, her mama was a hoe too.
Right.
You hear women who are street workers, yeah, my mama did it. You're always repeating the women in your family. Nobody has more clarity than an ancestor. That's the highest level of hindsight 2020.
2020, right.
So, and they coming back again at some point. So they have a vested interest in you doing well. So when you want to know, is
they
this
might
the
come
man?
back through the child. They're going to come back through the child.
You might mate with this man. They might be the child you mate.
That's right.
Who going to have better insight on it if that's the one than them?
All right. So, boom, you brought that up. And the question has to be asked. Are the children that are coming through now, because you know we're in a shift.
Oh.
And as a result of that shift, what we may have been taught by our people and our grandparents about, y'all got to get married now. You can't be having no children out of wedlock. But the way shit is going these days with these star seeds, it's appearing as if they may be choosing their parents, and the conjoining of the two was for the purpose of the child to come through, not for the marriage, not for the relationship to basically be head over heels and we in love forever, but there was a purpose in that conjoining, and that was the child. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's possible.
Explain.
The child can't get there without the union. The child can't be nurtured without the two people.
Right. I don't mean that. I'm not negating the union. I'm saying full love. You know what I mean? A love child, not no hit and run. A love child coming through, and the parents loving on that child and those parents loving each other. However, the paradigm of Roman antics that they taught us about, you have to be married. If you don't have a child and you're not married, you're not you're not a good woman, and all of these other things. Is that being disrupted by this new paradigm that we're in, to whereas the ring might be the child, or the marriage might be the fact that you created a whole life and whatnot? Is that more important than the marriage these days? And then I have another question to ask.
I don't understand. So are you saying that like marriage before children is like a Roman antic, like a Caucasian antic?
No. I'm not saying
Are you saying that sometimes people are meant to come together to bring a child together, not for them to be married?
I'm saying that.
Okay. Now, see, what would you do if somebody talk about your mama?
If they talked about her?
What if somebody abused, talk about your mama and kicked your mama down in front of you? How would that make you feel?
It would make me feel like kicking them down.
Yeah. Boy, and about my mama, boy, I might give your family something to do next weekend.
Right.
And a lot of times, men confuse the woman that is their lover.
Right.
For that's your son's mom.
Right.
That's your daughter's mom.
Right.
I think we have a disconnect that a man think he could be a good father, but not a good husband. It doesn't work like that. You think your son cares about how you and his mama was fighting? That's my mama.
Right. They're going to stand up for their mama.
And all vice versa. That's their parent.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So to me, it would be impossible to say, oh, it's meant for us to bring this child forth. That child, I want you to marry my mama and be good to my mama. It's not natural to have a child and be dating other men. Have a daughter and, my dad's not with my mama. He dating other women. That hurts the child.
I met a child And henceforth, I'm speaking about the newer, the what they call the star seeds or the. And I met a child who told me specifically, these my parents don't own me, right? I chose them as a vessel to come through, but I am on my own mission. I am not of. I'm not their child. They don't own me. They brought me through and they're raising me, but that's not what we not. That's not the arrangement. This is what a child told me, 8 years old. Where did that child get that mind state from?
I don't know. Could be anywhere. I don't know. Every
And
child want to see their mom and dad together healthily.
I believe that as well. I do
That
believe that.
child might have an anointing, or that child might have heard it on a movie. We don't know. It could be so extreme to either one. We don't know.
That
He could have
gotta.
been watching Star Trek.
That's true. That's true.
So I don't know. I would say the average child, you ask any son, do you want to see your mama dating niggas? I can't see no son saying, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I want you to be with my daddy. I want my daddy to commit to you and treat you right.
So the second question would be: there's this phenomenon that I've observed over the years, and it baffles me. And it doesn't baffle me to the point where I don't have an answer as to why I'm seeing this, but it baffles me as to why I'm seeing it so frequently. What would be your take as to why so many new couples who bring children into the world don't make it past the second year together?
The child was born for manipulation
Okay. To hold one of the parents.
or to win against another woman.
Right.
And whenever you conceive a child to manipulate a situation, that child will manipulate you out your relationship. So it's the intention. You know,
Okay.
you have a child, or you give her a child. I don't want no other men to want her. She a single mom now. Or
Right.
I'm gonna have a baby for him because now the other girl he talking to, girl, I'm finna get pregnant. Now he's stuck with me. What good is coming from that? So you thought you was gonna put that child in that person to win or bring something together. That's gonna make everything fall apart. So I don't know what people think is coming from a child conceived by deception and manipulation or ulterior motives. You supposed to
Right.
have a child to love and nurture that child, and whatever they grow up and become, I'm supportive of that. I love you no matter what. You don't make your children have to perform for your love. Or I'll love you if you be the way I think you should be. You love that child. That's a part of parent. That's why I don't fault people that say, I'm selfish. I don't want to have kids. I want it to be about me. Great.
Right.
Because that's what you should do.
Right.
Because having a child is investing so much and not expecting any return.
Right.
You know, you don't got to earn my love. I love you no matter what you do. I love your dirty draws.
Unconditionally. Right.
So
Right.
them children, them people you see that break up, that they had that baby most of the time to try to prove something to someone else, to keep someone around, make someone undesirable.
It's a
You
lot
know,
of it.
it's a lot of that. Or
It's a
they both
lot.
toxic. They want it. They know they need to break up. Let's get pregnant so we ain't got to break up. And the inevitable ends up happening. Whatever energy you go to with the conception of a child in, that child will only magnify it
Right.
times 20.
Okay. So like a lot of results you may say of people just casually getting the hookup culture, you know, not wearing, you know what I mean? Like mistakes are happening and children are being born as a result, but there was never really a glue between the parents. So that's kind of like what we're seeing
I
in a
don't even think it's
nutshell.
necessarily that. I think a lot of people, most of the people I see who actually are becoming single parents in 2024, it was a manipulation. That's what I see most of the time. And the children is supposed to be the result of, not the cause of. And a lot of people are having to want the child to be the cause of further commitment or the cause of taking things to a next level. And that child will resent you. It'll know you had him or her as a tool.
Right.
You didn't have me as the result of your intention. You wanted me to be the intention. You used me before I was even born. Then wonder why the kid's bad and why the kids resent them. You try to use your own child for your own gain. You don't even love that child.
Damn. Do you feel or do you think that men in particular, right, are not receiving the tools and the instructions, right, to be real fathers to our children, and we're dropping no ball?
I
Because
think
I see the men going out the side door.
typically the older generation. A lot of the younger brothers, I think they know how it feels to be neglected in that way. And
Right.
so many of them, more majority do than don't. You know, they're making a decision. I'll never make my children feel what I feel. I think the old, like my father generation, oh
Right.
my God, there was no recourse. You know, my father generation, whatever they did, it was still, that's your daddy. Your daddy come and look excited. You see him twice a year, and the kids are like, okay. They was forced into that.
Right.
The new generation of men now, it's rare you see a guy in between 35 and younger who is just a complete deadbeat. It's very rare.
Right.
And most of the time, if you do, he doesn't have a network of other men.
Just
Most
holding them.
men nowadays, it would be kind of weird. Every other man take care of their kids, and here you go, ain't seen your kid in years, not doing
Right.
anything for it. The court system have changed a lot. They're more in favor of the men now. Effort is seen. Men that show up and try are normally rewarded. So I would say we're getting out of that era where the whole deadbeat thing is a norm now. We're getting into that era where the men are saying, I don't want my kids to go through that because I went through it.
Okay. Awesome.
So I'm
Awesome.
proud of the progress that men have made on being more intentional and being in their children's life. We're taking baby steps. We got to have grace.
Right.
That was the first step. Now we're going to take more steps to now take care of the mother too. Be with the mother too. We slowly getting there.
Okay. Because I was going to add on that, yes, I remember being in Harlem, 2007 and 8. I made it my purpose to walk down 2/5 with the baby carriage. You know what I'm saying? To let other brothers see, like, this is cool type shit. And then as the years progressed, that became a phenomenon. Men with carriages. You know what I mean? Men with the the pouches where you got the baby in it. Like,
Love to see
they
that.
were walking down 125th with their head high.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yes.
So I do agree that we're seeing a shift in the younger generation to where they like, nah, I'm not wearing that title. And that shit is not cool. You know, whatnot. So, okay, cool.